So, all right. So, how old were you when you went to Letterman?
I was 21 when I got that job, and he was using me sort of right away. And I was a runner, but he put me on television. I think like the first show I was on, and
His first show?
yeah, the first
Right when
episode.
he got the Late Show.
Yeah, he did like a tour of the studio,
Uh-huh.
and he went into the control room, and there was like an Oktoberfest going on in the control room.
Right.
I was in lederhosen and drinking a big beer, and he took a shine to me, early on, and like me, I was goofy looking and silly, and
Did he know your dad?
And he was a fan of my dad's for
Yeah.
sure.
Did he talk to you about that?
Yeah, well, I did meet him before I went to Letterman. It's a story I've told, but it is true. I was a tour guide at Rockefeller Center, and he came up to the observation deck, and I started just blabbing about who my dad was,
Right.
To him right away. And it's funny because he said to me, well, it's interesting because whenever I've subbed for Johnny, I always want to try to get Bob and Ray on. And for some reason, I just said to him, yeah, well, my dad doesn't do the Tonight Show unless Johnny's hosting, sorry. And he just kind of like brushed that off. But apparently he remembered me when I went and got hired.
What were your memories of him, though? Like, he's become sort of odd in terms of like what gets out and what gets in over there. Like, most people I know who I talk to who work on the show currently, they're like, oh no, he's over there. Like he seems almost inaccessible.
But I think that's probably inevitable with that kind of success and that amount of time with that kind of show and the turnover. I mean, people do go there and then leave on their own for their own reasons.
But I mean, initially when the show was first starting, I mean, how engaged was he with the creative process and with the writers and
He was engaged. It was a smaller group of people, so it was hard for him to avoid being engaged.
Right.
And there was, we were in small offices up on the 14th floor. You were up there.
Yeah.
You remember that. I do remember him taking me out to breakfast once. And it was, I felt like an idiot because he asked me, it was like the second week I was there. And he said he was staying at a hotel, him and Merrill Marco,
Right.
that was near where I was still living with my parents.
Right.
And he said,
In the city?
Yeah. And he was saying, you want to go to this coffee shop for breakfast? And I thought he was busting on me. And I was
Right.
like, oh, yeah, sure. Okay, I'll be there. What time? 8:30? All right. Yeah. And then he walked out that day, and I was manning the desks at the front. And he said, so we're going to show you tomorrow, right? And I was like, yes, sure. And that morning I woke up and I was thinking, well, I don't know. And I went to the coffee shop and he wasn't there.
Right.
And I went, I'm just such a moron. And I sat down and then, I looked up and there was Dave and Merrill and they walked in and sat down and he was really, he brought me into that fold pretty, comfortably. He really liked me.